All right, good morning, Dreammakers Powerhouse. Welcome to today's training manual. Guys, I'm driving this morning, so bear with me as you don't want to see my face right now. It'd be more distracting. So, but you will be able to look at the beautiful Miss Jamie Maddox, who is joining us this morning. I love this gal. She is the bomb.com. She is the top female producing agent right now in the entire company. And so if you're going to take some notes, this is the time to take notes. So without further ado, what we're going to talk about today is the type of leads that she utilizes. Her favorites are check leads, right? She is no snob to leads, but she does have a favorite like all of us do. And she's going to break down the success that she's had in the business. She's going to break down how she utilizes check leads to help with that success, making an average of $15,000 a month on her own pen, working an average of 7 hours a day. Raise your hand in the chat if you would love to make 15,500, working about 7 hours a day in the field. It's possible, long as you are consistent, you're diligent, you really want it, and you have a great attitude, right? And so Jamie, if you can come off of mute, I want you to quickly introduce yourself. Tell us your background, what you were doing before you joined NASB, and maybe something that you've taken from your previous career that's allowed you the success, maybe laid the foundation for you to be who you are here at NASB.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for having me on the call today, Laura. It's a huge honor to be on and to be able to pour into your team today, and I hope that you guys that I can just add some value to you guys today, and you can take something away from some of the things that I have to share with you. So background, I was in the fitness industry for 16 years and was very successful in the fitness industry, and kind of worked my way to the top of the corporate ladder there. And kind of it all came crashing down on me one day, and I got fired back in 2020, August of 2020, and found the NASB opportunity and decided to kind of jump on board with NASB and haven't looked back since. And I would say that, I think from being in the fitness industry and really just being an athlete, like in my high school and college years, that kind of, I guess, mentality works really, really well in this business, because I was always, and I'm still always competing with myself from a fitness standpoint. And I'm used to pushing myself to get uncomfortable in order to get results. And essentially, that's what you have to do in sales. You have to push yourself to get uncomfortable if you want to see results. And so I think that that's really carried over pretty well for me here, because I'm just extremely competitive. And so since I am competitive and not just, I'm competitive with other people, but, and I like to win, but I'm also super competitive with myself and seeing how far I can really push myself in anything that I do. So that's a little bit about me.
I love that. Sometimes it takes something like, losing a job to, have a career opportunity. Sometimes it's in those losses that we actually find out what we're made of and actually have the ability to propel. Were you making $15,000 in the fitness industry?
Oh my gosh, no. I was working my butt off like 50, 60 hours a week, but the most I ever made was 63 grand a year. And that was like my last couple of years. And that was when I was a regional fitness manager, and I was over 2 states, and I had about 18 studios under me. And it was a big job, and it was I worked a lot harder. I can honestly say I worked a lot harder in the fitness industry for a lot less money than I do right now. So I'm extremely grateful for NASB and the opportunity that it's given me.
I think what happens though is, we come from a W-2, or we come from a career opportunity where we have to work really hard, and then we come and we work for ourselves, and then we don't hold ourselves to the same standard, and then we make the same amount or less, versus keeping that what was taught in the diligence on the W-2 side, the corporate side, and applying that to ourselves to actually blow up. So I love that. And I mean, watching you and seeing the strategies that you have in place, and just your fortitude to want to move forward is what is continuing to help you rise. So let's kind of jump into strategy. With you being, the top female year to date, already over 6 figures at halftime. Let's talk about, we're talking check leads, we're talking 15 grand a month. Why check leads in the first place? Why do you like them? Break them down, the nitty gritty. I know that some people either love them or they hate them. So why did you choose them?
Well, I guess just from, the first couple of years being in the business, I tried all the different types of leads. And I just found that as a general rule, I was getting more sales off of check leads. And when I was kind of doing my math, and so I just decided at the beginning of this year, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to put in a standing lead order for a lot of check leads and just see what I'm capable of, to be honest, with the check leads. So with running platinum check leads. And so
let me jump in there really quick. Let me jump in really fast.
Okay.
2 things that I want to tell people when it comes to a check lead. When it comes to mentality, they have a 4 to 9% return ratio. When a dental memorial or a dental platinum, when they get sent out, there's right now a 1% return ratio. So you're 4 to 9 times the amount of leads that you can put in the area that you're working. But this is the other caveat. Guess what you have to do? A standing lead order. For you newbies out there that are just getting started, that are only working gold, silver, bronze leads, hey, that's great. But if you want leads coming into your area, even if it's a little bit backed up, you got to put in a standing lead order. That's the only way that everyone knows who's working in an area, and you actually have those leads coming in. And if you're in North Carolina, you can do a standing lead order for check leads. You're in Alabama, a little bit different. You can do whatever you want pretty much, but just wanted to make sure that I threw that out there, is that you have to have a standing lead order. That is number one. For you to be at the level that you're at, you can't skimp on a standing lead order. I don't care who you are. And then, just know that you have such a higher return ratio. And we look at the odds, we look at the numbers, 4 to 9% return ratio versus a 1% return ratio. Okay, go ahead.
I want to piggyback off of that, actually. She's exactly right. So even in Alabama, when I first started, I was putting in standing lead orders for memorials and dentals, and I wasn't getting a return at all. And so I was actually pulling check leads off of inventory, and that's how I started running them, because other people, I guess, had put in an order for them and was finding success with them. And so that was really what made me put in a standing lead order for check leads in the first place. And kid you not, guys, like I put in a lead order last November, and y'all, it typically takes about 6 to 8 weeks, sometimes 10, to get the leads back. I'm just going to be honest. So if you're just starting out in the business, go ahead and put your lead order in now, because it's going to take a while for them to get back. That'll give you a couple of months to get used to sales and get all the kinks out and start getting good at it, so that when your leads start coming in, you'll be a little bit more well-versed in sales. But, the first part of the year, I'm just drawing a blank. Where was I?
It's okay. You cut out this a wee bit. All right. So that is huge. Now let's talk about how many do you purchase? How many presentations? Because I think something that you do that, you have the right amount of leads and you have higher presentation count. I think you have to marry the two of standing lead order, giving yourself the most bang for your buck, and then mixing that with high activity. So
yeah. Okay. All right. Yes, I'm going to talk about that. But real quick, I wanted to say the return that I was getting was I put in an order for 30 leads and I was getting back 30 leads. I stopped that order at the end of about 6 months, put in a new order, and now I've got to order in for 20 a week. The last 3 weeks, I've gotten back, the first couple weeks, I got back the full 20. The last 3 weeks, 3 weeks ago, I got 71 in 1 week. The second week, I got 60 plus in, and this today, 74 leads came in. So just want to put that out there. Okay. Check leads are where it's at. So you get a lot less. The reason I like check leads, guys, is because with the approach that I use for check leads, and I'm going to share that with you, my approach, I have just mastered it to the point that I'm getting in like 80% of the time. And I've been tracking my numbers. I track my approaches and how many presentations I'm giving. And on a consistent basis, when I'm running these check leads, about 70 to 80% of the time, I'm getting in the door, and I'm talking about getting in and not getting an objection, like just getting right in. So I'm going to share my check lead approach with you guys. If y'all want to take some notes, feel free. But this has really been working for me. So knock. Hey, Miss Betty. Hey, Miss Betty, I am so sorry to catch you off guard. What? Am I going? Okay. Hey, Miss Betty, I'm so sorry to catch you off guard. I'm so sorry to catch you off guard today. My name is Jamie with North American Senior Benefits. I'm just here to drop off the benefit information that came with that little $5 check you got to cash a few days ago. It's just going to take me 5 to 10 minutes. You want to sit right here on the couch? And I just lean in and I point to their couch or I point to their table. 9 times out of 10, I'm getting in the door right then and there because they remember cashing the check. They just did it recently. And I try not to give too much information at the door. Sorry, I had a call come in. I try not to give too much information at the door. I know a lot of the lead approaches yesterday on the national call, they were amazing, but they give a lot of information at the door. I feel like less is more in my lead approach, so that I'm literally just trying to get in that door so I can start making a friend and giving a presentation. The more information that you give at the door, the more questions they're going to have back at you. And then you're ending up trying to overcome objections at the door. So my goal is just to get in.
I love that. Let me jump in real quick. Less is more at the door. Less is more. Guys, it's like giving away everything for free if you go over too much at the door. So just think about it like that. This is an appetizer. You're giving an appetizer at the door, but you know, the main course, a whole shebang, but you can actually bring the most value. You got to get into the door. So rapid fire, one more time. I want to hear your approach. I may give you an objection, and I want people to see you just rapid fire, not even think about it, like do your approach. And it goes back to consistency, practicing, and not overthinking the lead that you're working. So go ahead.
Okay. No.
Hello.
Hey, Miss Betty. Hey, I am so sorry to catch you off guard today. My name is Jamie down there with North American Senior Benefits. I'm just here to drop off the free discount information that came with that little $5 check you cashed a few days ago. It's just going to take me about 5 to 10 minutes. You want to sit right here on the couch real quick?
I don't know what this is about.
Yeah, no problem. It was just a little $5 savings check that we sent you out in the mail. Do you see your signature right here where you signed for it?
Yeah, I guess. Yep.
Yeah, so I'm just the one that's been assigned to make sure you get the free benefit and discount information. We've been saving a lot of people in the area a lot of money recently. So it's just going to take me about 5 to 10 minutes. You want to sit right here on the couch, or you want to come out here with me on the porch?
All right, the porch is fine. Guys,
awesome.
It's not, less is more. It's not overcomplicated. And then she does exactly what we teach, which is to acknowledge the objection and then go back to assuming your way into the door. It's beautiful. All right,
so,
go ahead.
So a couple other reasons why I like check leads, guys, is because when someone cashes a check, it's a little bit different than filling out a form. There's something about cashing a $5 check where people feel a sense of obligation to let you in. So when you go to the door and you show them the $5 check, even if they didn't cash it because they wanted the final expense insurance, they feel a sense of obligation to let you in, especially if you have that letter that's attached and you can show them the letter that was attached to it, where they can, and show them where it says, hey, this is, by cashing this check, this is your request for information about our final expense discount program and senior discount programs. An agent will contact you to give you the information. When you read that off to somebody at their door, they're like, okay, I can't do anything. I gotta let this check in, right? Because they're like, I cashed the check, I didn't read it, that's on me, come on in, right? So that's another reason why I like them. And if you don't have that template with your check leads of the letter that they get, I can send that to you, but you need to have that on your iPad so you can throw that in their face if they try to reject you. The third thing that I love about check leads is that most of them have a bank account because they cashed the check. So they either cashed it or they deposited into their bank account. So you get a lot less of those banking objections, and you get a lot less of direct express and debit cards. And so that makes your business a lot more sticky as well. So those are the main reasons why I like check leads.
Girl, like, it's so funny because you take like the common misconceptions and like you're making them work for you. So what do you say if like you've got an agent or you're at a door and they say, I just wanted the $5 check?
If they say, I just want the $5 check, say, oh, you are? Oh, most of the people that cash the $5 check just wanted the $5 check. You're just like everybody else. Everybody just cashes it for the $5. But actually, we help more people that cash the $5 check just for the $5 than we do the people that actually read the letter. It's just going to take me 5 to 10 minutes to help you out. Where do you want to sit?
Guys, do you see how she changes it and just makes it like, she just makes it work. Like don't overthink a lead type, just work the lead. There's something else I was going to say, and I just lost my train of thought. Hold on, it'll come to me.
Good. Now I don't feel so alone. I lost mine earlier.
Us blondes, we have that problem sometimes where we just,
no.
right in the thought that we're having, we just forget what the heck we're saying.
Yeah.
I was going to say, shoot, that's going to drive me insane. I'll remember in a second.
That's okay. Go ahead. Do you have another question?
So let me ask you,
moving on.
Yeah. One question real quick. So for you to make the 15,000 and you're getting 20 leads a week, how much every single month are you investing? So, every month without a shadow of a doubt, no matter what circumstance, no matter how you're feeling, no matter if you want to go to work or not, no matter this, that, and the other thing that anybody ever wants to tell themselves, what is your average consistent investment into your business?
$2,000.
Okay. So you spend $2,000 to give yourself the opportunities to make 15,500.
Yeah.
Perfect. Guys, would you spend 2,000 if you're going to make 15? Every hand should be raised.
Yeah. And honestly, guys, I want to say this too, because in January and February of this year, I was doing a lot of traveling. And I wasn't really writing a ton of business those 2 months. So it was really from March until July that I really started running my check leads, and just being super duper consistent every single week with how many presentations I was giving, and giving my 15 to 20 presentations a week in order to get the return on my investment that I wanted. So honestly, guys, like, my average those 4 months was more like 17 grand, 18 grand, 20 grand, 22 grand. When I was consistently every single week, just like in the field, going hard, running the check leads. So if you can make more than 15,000 is what I'm trying to say.
What do you think is the number one thing that you do that allows you, outside of working the check leads, knowing your lead like the back of your hand, why they work? But what else do you bring to the table that's going to help you get 20 presentations consistently in the same amount of time, working 30 to 35 hours a week?
Yeah. So I think there's been a few things that I've implemented. One of them is going to be that I do a lot more call aheads now. So if I know that I'm not getting out in the field until 12 or 1, I'm going to find all my check leads that got phone numbers on them. And I'm going to do a quick call ahead, try to set a couple of appointments with a few of those check leads, maybe 1 or 2 appointments for the afternoon, to make sure that I'm in the house giving presentation and have those set. I also
Pause. Hold on. So you're
Okay.
telling me you call your check leads? I hear all the time it's a check lead. A lot of them don't have phone numbers, but you're not using it as an excuse. You find the ones that do and you call to be more efficient, and you're not afraid to utilize the call ahead. So many people are too scared to do the phone, and so they lack the ability to be fully effective. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I mean, I have to now, since, if I just ran like, 6 interviews back to back to back in the morning and I'm not getting out till 12, like I got to get on the phone and try to get at least 1 or 2 appointments set in the area that I'm going to work that day. So that's one thing that I do is the call aheads. That helps me out. And y'all, I'm still neighbor knocking. If the lead's not home, I'm still doing the 4 knock. I'm not going to waste an opportunity to talk to somebody at a lead when I'm stopped. And my neighbor knock, I mean, I have used the same neighbor knock approach that Abel taught me from day 1. And that thing works for me like gold. And I've actually been training other teams on my neighbor knock, and other managers in Planright have actually been implementing it in their teams, and it's working in like all different areas. So I did want to share that with you. Laura, do you mind if I share that now? My neighbor knock approach?
Yeah.
Perfect. You broke
I'm
up.
big on neighbor knocks.
What?
I said I'm big on neighbor knocks. I love them.
Perfect. Okay. So I'm going to share my neighbor knock approach with you guys. That works really well for me. So knock, knock, knock. Hey, I'm so sorry to catch you off guard this afternoon. My name is Jamie. I'm a local benefits coordinator licensed with the state. I've actually been assigned to the area today, and I've been able to help several of your neighbors with some discounts on the new state regulated benefits programs for this year. It's just my job to make sure everybody has the information they're entitled to. Only takes me about 5 to 10 minutes. Where would you like to sit real quick? I know it's kind of long, but it
Love
works. But it works. So happy to, write that out for anybody or text it to anybody that wants that. But that's really been working for me. And then the last thing that I would say is that I do not waste time with people that aren't buying. I don't spend a lot of time in people's houses that I'm pretty sure I'm not going to close the deal. I will try to overcome an objection 2 or 3 times, but if it's pretty obvious it's a no-go, I'm getting out of there and I'm going to the next lead or the next house as soon as I can. And I think that's another reason why, because when I'm in a house, I'm making a sale and I'm trying to get that thing done within like an hour. In and out within an hour, doing connecting, doing the whole presentation, not cutting any corners, but just making sure that I'm connecting just enough with the client to get them to like me and trust me, giving a full presentation all the way through. Like every single one of my presentations is exactly the same. And I'm trying to freaking blow their mind in every single presentation and get them to want to eat out of my hands and buy life insurance from me. So I put a lot of time, effort, and energy into mastering and perfecting my presentation so that by the time I get to the end, I'm not getting objections, they're buying, and I'm getting out of there. So those are some of the few things that I would say, I've implemented, and how I can get 3 to 5 presentations in pretty easily in a 7 to 8 hour period now.
Love it. So that's the goal, guys. The goal is to get 3 to 5 presentations within a 7-hour period by mastering your craft. But sometimes we make it more difficult on ourselves because we don't want to practice. We don't want to get on the call. We don't want to get on a Zoom. We don't want to continue learning. So what is something that you've implemented that when it comes to your craft, your presentation, to help you actually perfect it?
Um, I think that I understand the why behind every single one of the steps and the purpose of them. And I'm always trying to emphasize that in the way that I'm presenting it with each step. So I know that the whole connection phase is I've got to get this person to like me. I know in step 2, I've got to get this person to trust me. So what do I need to say to them that's going to make sure they know that they can trust me? I want to make sure they have, they value what I have. So I guess I've implemented a few, I guess you could say, my own little transitional statements in step 4. I think that have worked pretty well for me. That have allowed me to really just draw the client in and keep them really interested and engaged in my presentation.
Yeah, so I love what you said was understanding the purpose of the step. Step 1 is to memorize the steps of the presentation. Step 2 is to internalize that presentation. And the way that you internalize it is by knowing the why behind the what. If you don't know why, just like if you don't know why you're out in the field or what your purpose is doing this career, if you don't know the why in this step, it's not going to flow and it's not going to come out right. And so you have to dig deeper than just the surface level of step 1 is to connect and ask FORT, family, occupation, recreation, and transition. No, you got to go deeper than that. So we've got 2 minutes. So in closing, if you've got, like you mentioned that you have like a line in your transition statement, give us what that is in the last 30 seconds or so.
Okay. So when I move into step 4, I give the normal transitional statement. Now, the last and final thing that we help with is the most important thing we help with. This is where I specialize for our company and what you requested the information about. It's all the new state regulated life insurance programs for this year. Most of the people that we sit down with fall into one of 5 categories. They either don't have any coverage at all and looking for some, they're paying too much for what they currently have, they want or need more coverage. They may have a paid up insurance policy that they are unaware of, or there may be something wrong with their current plan or they're in the wrong type. That's already part of the presentation. Now, what I say after that is kind of my thing. And I say, now we're actually able to help everybody in all 5 of these categories. And the reason why we can is because we don't work with just one insurance company. And that's when I flip the page. We work with all the top rated providers for insurance in the nation. These are all the companies that we work with. Do you recognize any of these companies? And that statement that I make, the reason why I make it is because I want the person in front of me to know that whether they have insurance or not, I am going to be able to help them that day. And that has really worked for me quite a bit. Another transitional statement that I use is towards the end when I'm about to go over the 3 types of life insurance. And I just say, Ms. Johnson, the last thing we like to do is educate the senior community about how life insurance works, because quite honestly, there's a lot of misconceptions and confusion about life insurance. And the reason is because there's different types. It's not all the same. And that's when I go into my education on the 3 different types. And that draws people in quite a bit as well. So I found both of those to be pretty helpful for me.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day is like when you say your transition lines or your credibility statements in certain parts of the presentation, you got to believe it. You got to know that you're going to be able to help anybody. Like the reason why that works for you is because you believe it and that you transfer that belief to the person that you're in front of. I love that. It is 9:30 on the dot. Thank you so much for being available and pouring into us and making us just a little bit better than you found us. Have a great one, okay?
Absolutely. And real quick, hey guys, write down my phone number, 469-203-5040, 469-203-5040. Text me if you want any of that information I went over, and I'm happy to get on a call with any of you guys and y'all can pick my brain as much as you want. Thank you so much for having me on today, Laura. And
Have a great
see you
one.
at the top.
All right, bye.
Bye.